Welcome to the part you didn't see coming, the untold truth, the silent storm, the deeply buried emotions behind the royal smile. This is Sheikh Hamdan's official channel, and today, we open a chapter that remained hidden from the public eye for too long. Life in the palace isn't always wrapped in gold and comfort. Sometimes, it's the stage for personal battles, emotional sacrifices, and decisions that shake the soul. You've seen the strength, the elegance, the power. Now see the vulnerability, the truth, and the man behind the throne. They said I had it all, wealth, admiration, status, but no one paused to ask if I had peace. Every room I walked into was filled with eyes, but none truly saw me. I smiled through expectations, obeyed the legacy of my lineage, and gave pieces of myself to an image built by tradition. But inside, I was longing for something raw, real, and unfiltered. The part you didn't see coming is that even a prince can feel alone in a crowd, and even royalty yearns for authenticity. There were moments I stood at the edge of choices no one dared to speak of. Times when I had to wear the crown while my heart was breaking beneath it. Love came, not in grand palaces, but in quiet glances and forbidden conversations. She wasn't from a world of diamonds, but she held something more valuable, truth. And in her truth, I saw a reflection of who I could be, not just who I was born to be. This was not the love the world expected, but it was the one that woke me up. Welcome to the part you didn't see, the sleepless nights, the poems written in silence, the dreams that defied my title. I gave her my words when I couldn't give her my world. I promised her nothing but honesty, and in return, she gave me her soul. Her strength wasn't in her lineage, but in the way she held her ground even when the walls around us began to tremble. I watched her walk away once, tears burning through the fire in her eyes, and I realized I had lost something no crown could replace. Every decision I made was scrutinized, every step weighed by what it meant for my country, my family, my future. But no one asked what it meant for my heart. I stood at the crossroads of duty and desire, and each time I leaned toward her, the world pulled me back. I hid the pain behind diplomacy, but the truth is, she was the only thing that ever made me feel free. This is the part you didn't see. A man torn between legacy and love, struggling to choose without losing everything. They say destiny favors the bold, but in my world, boldness can cost everything. I wrote her letters I never sent. I whispered her name in prayers I never said aloud. I watched her move on while I stood still, bound by expectations that left me voiceless. And when the day came that she no longer looked back, a part of me shattered so quietly that even I didn't hear it at first. That silence was the loudest scream of my life. Welcome to the truth behind the titles. I am more than the son of a king, more than the crown prince. I am a man who loved and lost, who fought battles not on battlefields, but within the chambers of his own soul. My poetry isn't for praise, it's the remains of a love story that never had a public ending. You read the verses, but never saw the tears that birthed them. Every word was a wound, every rhyme a memory. She was my balance, my rebellion, my peace. In her presence, I was not Sheikh Hamdan. I was simply Hamdan, a man craving warmth in a world of frost. She didn't want palaces, she wanted presence. She didn't ask for diamonds, she asked for time. But time was the one thing I could never give her freely. The clock of duty always ran faster than the heartbeat of my love. And now I carry that regret like an invisible crown, heavier than any gold. I remember the final night I saw her. No cameras, no audience, just two souls speaking a language older than words. She placed her hand on my heart and said, "Set yourself free." But freedom isn't given to those born in chains of responsibility. I let her go, not because I didn't love her, but because I loved her too much to let her carry the weight of my world. That was the most painful sacrifice I ever made, and the one no one ever saw. The world sees perfection in polished images, in the curated snapshots of my life. But behind each frame is a reality you never imagined, a reality filled with complex emotions, impossible choices, and consequences that echo through every decision I make. I am not here to play the victim. I am here to show you the part of my journey that was never meant to be seen. The part where love was real, but not enough to defeat the structure that held me prisoner. So, to those who still believe in fairy tales, understand this. Love isn't always about happy endings. Sometimes, it's about choosing someone over yourself, and then letting them go so they can breathe freely. I carry her with me in the verses I write, in the silence between public speeches, in the longing that never quite fades. She didn't leave because she stopped loving me. She left because I couldn't love her the way she deserved. Welcome to the part you didn't see coming, where a prince admits he cried in the arms of destiny. Where poetry became confession, and silence became sanctuary. I'm not ashamed of this truth. I honor it. Because it made me human, it made me real. And maybe, just maybe, it made me stronger. Strength isn't just in holding on, sometimes, it's in letting go. This story isn't just mine. It belongs to anyone who ever had to choose between their heart and their path. It belongs to the woman who walked away from a man who couldn't stay. It belongs to the truth we often bury beneath appearances. And now, I offer it to you, raw, unapologetic, and unmasked. This is the part of my life that refused to be silenced. This is the part you didn't see coming. Welcome. She was the only chapter I never wanted to end. Every other page in my life had been scripted, by tradition, by protocol, by duty, but with her, I wrote freely, without fear of judgment. She saw the boy behind the title, the soul behind the signature. In a world where everyone bowed to my presence, she looked me in the eye and challenged me to feel. That was her magic. She didn't want the man the world knew, she wanted the man the world never met. And I gave him to her, fully, completely, and dangerously. Sometimes I wonder what could have been if I had chosen her boldly, if I had turned my back on legacy and claimed the life that made me feel alive. But that's not the world I was born into. In our realm, emotions are often sacrificed on the altar of responsibility. I was raised to lead, to preserve, to serve, but no one trained me on how to let love breathe inside those iron expectations.